Okay, let's get started for today's weekly town hall meeting, July 4th, 2022. Today's agenda: projects and development updates, marketing updates, collaboration updates, and Q&A. Robinson, can you please start us off with projects and development updates, please?
Thank you. Starting with our process improvement list, where our long-time contender Elk is in progress. So we have started upgrading this deployment, and the next steps would be connecting to various apps and testnets. That is, we'll be connecting Elk to Irona and primarily Next. This is in progress at this point. On the Dex UI, we have a new release which is given to QA, which is 7.0.7.10. And it has the major coming feature in this is the whale vault integration. So this is in QA at this point, and I believe in the next 1 or 2 weeks we'll have a release with whale vault integration available on production. There's no change in the production deployment, and that remains same as previous weeks. So here is our progress charts, the burn down and burn up. Our historic progress: we have 5 items in review, 4 of them, 4 bugs in review, quite large number of items in testing. Sole new feature is the whale vault integration, which I previously talked about. We have massive QA release 008, and the QA is in progress on this. This seems to have around 30 items in test, which is including bug fixes and new features. And I've also shared the link to the CI/CD deployment just in case if anybody wants to test this out. Keep in mind that this may keep changing at any point in time. So this URL will give a glimpse of our current development progress. Here is our progress charts. So we have some peculiar graphs here because we have added or moved new issues to the sprint. So that is why the number of tickets have suddenly increased. On the right side, the current progress is also being shown. Keep in mind that most of these items are in testing status, and in the next couple of weeks, we'll see a huge progress with in terms of the number of tickets and all these graphs as well. So on the whale vault, I have added the detail about our Dex deployment. The current ongoing feature is that current new feature or current new integration to Dex UI is in progress, and the testing link is provided here. So if anybody is interested in testing the whale vault, please visit and give us early feedback. So this seems to be working quite well, and this whale vault will be promoted to production in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So on the text part, there are no new updates here. I've just kept this slide for reference. We have also tested the current mainnet release, and it seems to be working quite well. And blockchain updates, the major update obviously is that we have the latest and greatest release done. Handful of witnesses have already upgraded and shared the feedback. So far, it's looking good. Now, the development team is now currently fully focused on the Ethereum Suns, and we are also continuing our research on the substrate and the Moonbeam technology stack. So we do have a few major items in our bucket list. The primary one including upgrade to the Bitcoin library. That's almost done, and we'll be pushing that out quite soon. And another one is we've been trying to address various quirks around the replay, abruptly stopping the replay. So those are also kind of fixed fully now. Along with the Bitcoin related updates, we'll be pushing this out fairly soon. This won't be a hard fork update, but it will take a while for the QA, and the new release, that is 1.5.19 or so, will be coming out pretty soon. So that's blockchain related updates. Here is our progress charts. So keep in mind that we are changing the milestone duration from 2 weeks to 1 month going forward, because what's happening is, even though we are doing a lot of work, 2 weeks milestone is not quite good enough to make any reasonable progress. So we have decided to extend all the upcoming milestones to 1 month or 30 days. TrueHands, the NFT component project. On this, first one is usability design is in progress. For our current deployment, the CI/CD deployment, which is available on the URL provided, we have some progress to the homepage, and the metadata browsing has been in progress, and I've provided 2 sampled links from where we can assess the current progress. And in addition to that, the CI/CD pipeline is also fairly ready, and the URL is also provided. Here is our burn down charts for the project. It looks 26% complete. That's a sprint looks 26% complete. On the Express NFT, we are still in a housekeeping mode and cleaning up the outstanding issues and getting ready for the demo. NFT lottery. So this we had deployment, which was like a demo deployment, which was not fairly in a working mode. We have managed to complete the login or retrieve the login information now. Now we have to test and make sure that the NFT and the lottery related functionality is working as expected. On the Python Peerplays library, we are continuing to bring in new functionality from Peerplays so that we have the end-to-end text functionality available in the Peerplays library. So this is in progress and no hiccups. On the Couch Potato, the new update is that we had a large number of vulnerabilities in Bookie Pro. So we are addressing those vulnerabilities. We have a deployment available, which was shared previously, that remains as it is. And we are also having trouble building an electron build. So right now we have decided to focus only on completing the web deployment, and that's well in progress. This remains the same. So let's move on. The Mint related slide, this also remains the same. There are no new updates on this. Okay, that's all from the development team and heading out to the marketing team. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobinson. Sala, marketing updates, please.
Thank you, Kelly. In terms of marketing update for the last week, SWOT project for 2022 product is ongoing in the stage 2. Finally provided the team the materials and forms, and it will be sent out this week to collect all the information and ideas from the teams. In terms of the tutorials for the witnesses documentation and all the steps by step to create the notes, it's been added one by one. We are almost 80% finished from the tutorials, and we'll be having documentation and section on peerplays.com, so we can provide all the very easy and user-friendly like a documentation section for all the new witnesses. In terms of the employer branding, so the employee spotlight and employee recognition ongoing. And for the release primer article, it will be released this week. And also we have started the plan to follow up with witnesses to upgrade the mainnet and their nodes in order to avoid any issues on the upcoming fork on the 16th July. And in terms of the well vault announcement, it's been posted by the content team, and we still work with for the 3D graphic on the peerplays.com. As aligned with the SWOT project, the team is working on posting the articles for Peerlink, Peerinfo, and all the related products. And finally, in terms of the content, we are working on providing videos and graphics for the demo of the product released by the dev team. In terms of marketing performance for the last week, in terms of analytics, we are seeing a growth in terms of the organic traffic, general traffic to the website, and the bounce rate is going down, which is positive in terms of user experience. Here are the top 10 pages by traffic on the site. So the main traffic is coming for the career pages and the posts that we are posting. Other pages that are bringing traffic is the Peerplays and also the home page as well. And also the tutorials and articles are starting to get more traffic on the site. In terms of social media performance for the last week, we're seeing a good growth in terms of Instagram and YouTube compared to the week before. And we're keeping a close eye on Twitter and also Facebook to adjust strategy. So this is a general summary performance report for the last week. Thank you.
Thank you, Sala. Jonathan, collaborations update, please.
Thank you very much. So this is a collaborations update for this past week alone. So there wasn't a lot of updates from the various collaborations we have, aside from the Avalon Meta Labs. We've now gotten everything set up in regards to Scene's community platform for it being privately hosted. We are now integrating the SSO with Peerplays right now. SSO stands for single sign-on, and that's well underway now. We've got the documentation necessary to do that. And what's going to happen now is we're also integrating the streaming element, which is going to be one of the other opportunities that will be available in Peerplays utilizing Scenes. So that was the only collaboration update for this past week.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, thoughts? I did have some questions come in from the community. The first one is a 3-part question. Can you go into greater depth regarding what you are working on with any of the business relationships? What are some of the goals? Any upcoming concrete milestones? What has been the progress made so far? What can we expect and when?
With the collaborations, these are essentially, independent entities that are utilizing Peerplays, and we're actively in communication with them to provide them support in order to do that. Gaming Benefits Corporation, which is one that we've talked about quite a bit recently, is actually registered for regulated charitable gaming within the United States. This is something which is going to utilize a lot of the various dApps that we have in the gaming sector. So that's ongoing. When it comes to the others, there's Avalon Meta, there's Mars VR, there's Parlay Nexus, there's some other ones that have remained unnamed that are in the finance, distributed Internet of Things, esports, real estate. All these are all different entities, different businesses that are in communication with us with an interest to use Peerplays. I can't go into a lot of details about their timelines, largely because they're out of our control and we can't be able to, and if we were to constantly talk about them, number one, a lot of them won't talk to us about them because there's a certain strategic competitiveness to them being able to stay under wraps until they're ready to go. So I really can't give a lot of details beyond what I have. Even with the details that I give, it's highly unusual for most businesses to be actively talking about who they're working with and whatnot. I think that these updates are for community benefit, only to show that there is others that are working with Peerplays. There is certain projects that are coming down the pipeline, but to give any kind of forward-looking statements, I guess you could call it, about when these start to hit the chain or when they're going to actually start to be released, that's largely up to those companies when they're going to do that. So I shouldn't and couldn't comment on those types of things, unfortunately. So yeah, and in terms of the level of involvement, we are more vested in some of these other than others. Take Gaming Benefits Corporation, Avalon Meta, Mars VR, Parlay. We have worked with them actively over the course of time on various things. Now, where they are in terms of like using Peerplays varies depending on the use case. The others I've talked about, which are still pending, for example, Decentral Capital, that's something that's going to be introduced in the future. And then there's also 3Speak, which some work has been done. There's an expectation that there's going to be more activity on that in the near future. But again, these are not our projects. These are other entities. So I can't give a lot of details as to when they're going to be doing things because they're out of our control. The collaboration updates should be viewed as kind of a nice thing, but not something to hang your hat on. I don't believe that our future is incumbent on being beholden to these collaborations. We should be more focused in what we are doing with the blockchain itself as a community. And it's our own activities, it's our own efforts that are going to yield greater results than the expectation of what others might do in the near future. So those are my thoughts on that.
Thank you. Are there other companies or organizations that have similar goals to the existing partners that PBSA can also partner with? There has not been any mention of new or incoming partners in the gaming sector or in general, except for the new healthcare entity showing interest. But again, no concrete info here.
Yeah, so there is definitely, there's a whole world of potential collaborations. If with the updates we've been talking about, and you might have noticed in the marketing aspect, we're talking about the future with Peerplays and how we are moving towards this substrate stack. With doing that, that is going to be the primary time when we start to showcase not only who we've collaborated with, but also the potential of what other entities could do with Peerplays. I think there's definitely an opportunity to gain more alignment with that. I think that it's a matter of timing. So strategically speaking, if we were to do that now, it wouldn't make much sense. But as we get further into what we're doing with Substrate and with our whole strategic movement with micro communities, that is going to be the optimum time for alignment with other potential collaborations. As a matter of fact, that's the best time, because it will be a ground floor sort of opportunity for the beginnings of these new micro communities that will be focused in utilizing the various aspects of Peerplays which we have developed over the course of these years. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Thank you. And finally, can you provide any new details about the plan for creating POWs and fueling them with the reserved PPY?
Yeah, so POW is an acronym which is short for Peerplays Autonomous Organization. It's spelled P-A-W, or sorry, P-A-O. And I can't give a lot of details on that at the moment, only because some of those aspects of how POWs will be fueled are still in flux. But the intent of how they would be fueled actually wasn't to have additional PPY go into them, but to have additional Bitcoin go into them. So part of the intent with the POWs that would be introduced with the new Peerplays in Substrate is that it would effectively create a decentralized sort of organization, like a series of decentralized organizations that would be able to determine for themselves how their particular POW is going to develop, not just in the technical aspects, but as a community as well, and have the funding to be able to do that. So aside from the value that is inherent in it, in what they've built over time from creating a community. So the short answer is I can't give a lot of details on that, but to correct you in terms of where you thought it would be reserves of PPY going into these POWs, it would actually be Bitcoin, if not other assets, which are now flowing in Peerplays that could be going into these POWs in order to fuel them so that they can be self-determining. That's all.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments, or thoughts from anybody here? And that ends our weekly town hall meeting for July 4th, 2022. Thank you all very much and have a great Monday.